Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and if you're new here on my channel, I usually talk about Japanese movies, dramas, entertainment. Sometimes I tap into other Asian pop culture topics as well. But for today's video, we're here to talk about my favorite thing ever to discuss here on this channel, which is No.Ⅰ. I'm such a huge fan of them. If you've seen some of my past content in passing before, then you would know that I've made a ton of video about them. If you're wondering what the heck is going on with my face, so I actually recreated Sho's tattoo in the INZM music video, which we'll be discussing in today's video, but I added their member colors just to add a little bit of like a twist to it. So there's red for Sho, blue for Jin, and purple for Kishi. My last video was talking about the debut performance of Inazuma on MST, so if you haven't seen it yet, then please go check it out. But I'm just super hyped for this music video because knowing what they did with Goat and Bon, where the teasers are definitely like there's a huge gap and a lot of surprises when the MV came out. I just know that Inazuma is gonna be like that. I've seen this before. If you follow me on Twitter or X, then you would know that I've already pinched in some of my theories about the themes of the music video, which I'll also be discussing in today's video. But there's just a lot to absorb about this, not just the music video, but also the song, and it makes me just super excited to sit down and just talk about it with you guys. But before that, real quick, so I was watching Jin's Instagram live last night as well when he was talking about the production and the stuff about this, and I really like how they came up with Inazuma, because similar to Bon, where the idea was from the bonsai or Japanese bonsai and the relationship between No.Ⅰ and the fans being kind of like the wire that helps shape the bonsai. For Inazuma, I didn't know that there was such like a nuanced theory or idea behind the kanji that is Inazuma, and how it goes with this idea that when lightning strikes, a rice grows faster, and with that idea, you know, No.Ⅰ they're at lightning speed, pun intended, with how they're doing things ever since they debuted in January. But with that, you know, it's kind of like their idea of nourishing the rice, which are their fans. And again, it's just kind of nice to always have the iLYs in mind when they're doing these types of things. And I don't know, but yeah. So enough about that, let's talk about the music video. By the way, this music video was shot in Taiwan, according to some fans. Like, they really spotted where the areas were, which is super cool. I have to hit pause for a second because I really found this opening scene funny, especially with Sho with his meat bun right there, and then Kishi just being all casual, and then comes Jin being all panicky with a mission in mind. I love that opening sequence of, instead of choosing one or just two players, they went with three. Again, I think it's very symbolic with the way that how they formed their group, especially given their history. I'll talk more about that in a sec. This is such a cinematic. When I saw this, like this in the teaser 5. In case you don't know, I'm a Shodan, and this scene, let's go back a little bit. They're so cool. I absolutely love that part, the way that, you know, they're just kind of like the idea of the lightning just like reverberating through their bodies through that particular step. I love the acting that went into it as well. Okay, I think I'll stop pausing for a second. Just I like this because it's like during round 1 they're already giving it their all, like 100%. They're already kind of like are very skilled, but they're kind of like just still pushing everything that they can to it and everything. And as Jin said, of course I want to be popular, like that particular line. And they're acing every single, round. For this one, I think it's a reference to how they've always talked about Sho is always like he doesn't go for compromises or anything like that. And here, just either it's left or right, not having doubts and all that. I like that. And again, they're always winning. They're always crashing the next stage and powering up. But this part right here is very, very interesting. So let's just reconnect to Sure. That part right there is quite interesting, because when they talked about sense and talent, it's kind of like in my opinion, like with rounds 1, 2, 3, they've given it their all. They're trying their best and all these other things, and they're clearing all the stages. But next to round 4, so again, there's a lot more enemies. They're still fighting their all, giving it their all. And they're really like going at it, but plot twist, they still hit game over. Now, we talked about this on Twitter. I've said this earlier. It's quite interesting because given their history, and I don't really like talking about their history a lot here on my channel when it comes to their Kimpori era to No.Ⅰ. Obviously, I've been a fan since their Kimpori era, but that's still kind of like a painful memory to look back to. So I don't really tap on it as much. But for this one, I see it as kind of like this idea of, and again, this is just my interpretation of rounds 1, 2, 3 is kind of like their first 3 years after they debuted with Kimpori. And they've talked about this in their 10K interviews before, where their 4th year is kind of like their starting line when it comes to hitting their 5th anniversary. But obviously, that didn't happen. The 3 of them left before the 5th anniversary. And it's kind of like symbolic of this. Like in the round 4, they were still giving it their all, but they hit game over for all the other reasons that up to this day, it's never going to be clear to everyone, but it's obvious that something has happened that led them to hit that game over. But what I like about this is after hitting game over, Jin kind of like is frustrated, obviously, but what he does is he cranks things up. And then there's that beat change, which is super, super interesting. Can we go back to that? Obsessed with Mega ni Jin. Gamer shows look so good, and this scene with Kishi right here. I like this part because, again, going back to my previous point, it's like this idea after hitting game over for round 4, both Jin and Sho, they kind of like came together, re-strategizing. They're reading a book here that is, like Jin comes in with this kind of like this maze book, which is kind of like a reference to the maze in Bon, but at the same time, a maze is kind of like symbolic of finding your own path, getting a little lost along the way. And showing him, they're kind of like re-strategizing. Meanwhile, Kishi comes in a little bit late to the scene, but when he joins them, then they're thrown back into the game. And I think that's very, very interesting because, again, it kind of like references, it's definitely poetic when it comes to what happened to them. Like and Jin came first, you know, with this new beginning, saying hi to the fans that they're starting a new chapter, and then eventually Kishi came in. But that's when they just started to be able to kind of like really form this new group and establish their identity as No.Ⅰ, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. And again, this is just my interpretation of, you know, how it is with the music video, and I find it just really, really interesting. I love this look on them. Shaw's face card, I swear, like with the low bass, how he looks in this one. Obsessed. This scene I love. Again, very creative. And I love the choreography. Thank you, Kazofire, for this amazing choreography once again. And again, that line, very, very catchy. Absolutely love it. And here, like all those efforts that they're doing, they're not just kind of like using their own power as well, but now they're kind of like powering up something that can really put them up to speed, which is why they're like putting in a machine or the motorcycle. Like it's not just their own power coming from within them, but being able to like maximize that further, and I absolutely just love that vibe. I remember watching this on Shaw's solo trailer teaser for this music video, and I was kind of like just looping it over and over again because what is this look? What is this vibe? It's also quite interesting because Shaw's been talking about how his favorite Avenger is Thor, and now they have a song called Inazuma, and they're kind of like having their twist on being gods of thunder. And I just absolutely love that for him, and I absolutely love this part. Let's also talk about the tattoos for a brief second. Oh my god. Like with the tattoos, all of them have like the tattoo similar to, you know, with Shaw with this one, and then with Jin on his forehead, and the one that Kishi was referring to on his neck earlier on. And I kind of like see it as, because this is a context of a video game, you know how you usually have 3 lives when you are playing a certain like level or a game or anything like that, and for them it kind of like fades throughout, like as they're playing through the rounds, and I see it as they've already had technically 3 rounds in their career, being juniors and then being able to debut, and then now is kind of like their 3rd phase, and it's all or nothing. It's either you win or lose, all these other things, but instead of like backing down and hitting game over and all these other things, they're pushing forward to it, and I absolutely love that. And I know, I just love that particular detail right there. Here, like this part right here is so festival ready. Like this riff, I saw their performance in Summer Sonic, and they blew the roof off that place because of how intense this performance is live. But just hearing it on a music video in contrast with this look, I love that part right there, because as with all of their other releases with Goat and Bon, Inazuma is also very self-aware. I've talked about this on my post on Twitter, where they know that everything that they do is currently drawing attention now, and it's not necessarily like all positive attention. There are a lot of people also have a lot of negative things to say about their current music, their current style, everything that they're doing. But what I like about this is it's like they're trying to make a statement saying that nothing is stopping them now. They are their own players to the game. They're taking control of how the narrative is going, and that's what they're currently doing at the moment. I love this part right here because they've talked about, never wanting to erase the past, because again, they've had a lot of criticism about how they're treating their history. Especially with lines in their past songs talking about, not idols, not artists, wonders, all these other things without lyric in bond. But I think for them, they're also kind of like saying, and again, this is their first album, that they're not forgetting their history, they're not erasing their past, they're carrying all of that forward, which also has something to do with their style, the way that they've trained in the past with their fans, all these other things. It's not a complete reset, and all of those skills, similar to how it is with video games, where you kind of like start learning the tricks and tips as you go along, even if you hit game over in one level. It kind of like helps you move forward to what's next to that and to be able to reach your goal. So again, I really love the way that even if it's dynamic and all these other things, their lyrics still speak true to who they are as artists now. And this last part is just so insane. Like this part right here, again, they're not disappearing, they're not going anywhere, contrary to what people thought initially. They're just moving at a very high speed, going towards the goal that they've always wanted, and they're not stopping for anything or anyone, and I really love that. So cool. I love them so much. And then it ends on that high, and that symbol right there, I hope I can catch it. That symbol right there is a combination of all of their 3 tattoos. So, and it's all like not shaded anymore, and I think it kind of like plays into the idea of the 3 lives thing, where even if they've exhausted all like their lives, and it's all or nothing at the moment, their efforts 3 combined make it for whatever it is that their goal that they're going to, and I just absolutely. And then this part right here as well. So I saw that I was looking at this particular packet, like the info that was written here, and someone referenced it on Twitter, and I saw it as well, that in 2020 apparently a mega lightning that hit like a world record or something like that happened, and that refers to the information that was actually like the numbers that was in this particular packet. So that attention to detail is so interesting, because there's a lot of like Easter eggs to catch in every single one of their music videos. And then it's kind of like, if you think of that as the player Jin, it's like he's entrusting his own life to himself, like player Jin, like it's like this self who was trying to aim further and further. He's entrusting it to having own control over his own life. So that's why he's sending it to his player version, if you get what I mean. Jin is so cute in this look. I love him in glasses. And again, they're always choosing 3 players as compared to just 1 or 2. And they're now playing together. And in this particular scene right here as well, there's a lot of like artifacts from Like there's artifacts from Bon with the Kamishibai on that particular corner, and then just like the Bon text right there. So cute. And I wonder if there's any scene right or any artifact right here that might be leading up to their next music video or concept. We'll see. With that said, so what are your thoughts on Inazuma? Personally, for me, I just absolutely love how, like, there's, again, this is something that's super creative. Not everyone is probably, again, not everyone will definitely enjoy the stuff that they're doing right now. It's very experimental, but it's always so surprising. You never know what you're gonna expect, and I think that's what they're aiming for. They want the buzzworthy type of content, but it's not just something that aims to be viral. It speaks to who they are as artists, and that it aims to excite rather than to be a simple fad. You know, it aims to be something that is to be analyzed or to be consumed in such a way that you pick up something from it every single time that you watch it. And I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, or I'm just loving the way that they're doing their stuff right now. I've always been into like their dynamic songs, and I'm just really loving the direction that they have, especially with how involved they are in the creative process and how they're really hands-on and being given the opportunity to be as hands-on as they can in their current career. So with that said, let's talk it out down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I would see you again soon in a new one. Bye!